July 10th, 2023. 8 years ago, July 10th, 2015 was my very last day in corporate America. I made a decision a couple months before then that I was going to be quitting my job in pursuit of launching a consulting company. At least that's what I thought I was going to do, but basically I was going full-time into entrepreneurship. I was in Los Angeles. I was there only for a few years, primarily raised on the East Coast and the DC area. Moved to LA, like I said, for a few years. Loved it, absolutely loved it. But the corporate career, it kind of got to a point where I just could not take it anymore. I just needed to be free from that. I was just so entrepreneurial in my heart that I knew I needed to take the biggest risk in my life and bet on myself, go full-time into my own company. So I made that decision. It wasn't an easy one. It was a lot of prayer, a lot of fasting. I was talking to some people who I considered my spiritual mentors, and just telling them, hey, this is what's on my heart, and definitely wanted to test it to make sure that it was what God's plan was for me and not my own selfish desires. And I felt like I got confirmation for it, and so I made the decision. I put in my notice. Now I had a really good thing going on. I was the market CFO for a Fortune 500 healthcare company, doing extremely well there, making a great salary. Lived in Palos Verdes. Our apartment that we had overlooked the Pacific. I mean, it was a pretty sweet place that we had, but I just knew that I wouldn't be fulfilled in my life if I didn't take this chance and go for it. And I didn't want to be the type of person to look back on my deathbed with regret, wishing that I would have taken more chances in life. So I did, and it wasn't easy. I was married almost 20 years now, but married definitely, 12 years back then when I made that decision. My kids were really young. One was just in elementary school, the other one was getting ready to start elementary school. So I took this chance on myself, gave up a very secure 6-figure cushy income with benefits and all that goes with it, to having zero income and no customers, just really nothing other than just the belief that I knew I could figure it out. So fast forward to making that decision. It was a geographical change in addition to being a career change. So I left LA, I moved to Florida. I've been in the Jacksonville area ever since, and it started out pretty good. Actually, was fortunate to get some customers right off the bat. I was doing finance and ops consulting for small businesses. I just had a very diverse skill set, worked in many different sectors, from energy, healthcare, construction, aerospace, worked in many different corporate departments, from project management to bid and proposals, finance, operations. So these consulting skills that I offered were definitely something that small businesses need, and I picked up some customers. Wasn't making a ton of money. My goal back then was, if I can get 8 customers paying me $1,000 a month on a retainer, that's a 6-figure income. So I didn't quite build it to that, because a lot of the customers that I was consulting to, they wanted me to help them in their bid and proposal efforts. So my 15-year corporate career, at that point, I was able to win billions of dollars of government contracts, not all by myself, but I was generally kind of the instrumental person putting together the financial proposals for these large government contracts. So after I started helping these small businesses win some projects that were, not really hard to get, I thought, what, with my construction background and everything, let me go out and set myself up to be a general contractor in Florida, and I'll start getting these projects myself. So that's what eventually happened. I made multiple pivots, coming from a real estate investor background outside of my corporate gigs. I thought I would just market my services to that client base, and I was picking up jobs pretty easy. I eventually got my real estate license just so I could get my real estate broker's license, got a roofing contractor's license. I had a short stint where I was thinking about going back out to Cali to get some business. I got my GC license, my Class B builder contractor's license in Cali. So after 8 years, man, I built this multi-million-dollar a year construction real estate development company. And man, like I said, the only constant in that was my belief in myself. I didn't really know what this would morph into. Now I have 7 or 8 full-time employees, a couple part-timers. I have a sales staff of 1099 independent contractors, and we've just been all over the state getting business. That was 8 years ago was my last day in corporate, and I had no idea that I would be doing what I'm doing today. So through all of it, I would say, other than my belief myself, also what's been constant is just me being an entrepreneur. I see a business opportunity in pretty much anything. I love talking business. I love talking just new strategic things, and man, we just start having a conversation or just whatever it is. I'm probably thinking, is there a way to turn it into a business to make some money from it? So that's where I'm at, man. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. 8 years ago, I walked away from corporate America, living in LA. The Wild West is what they called it. I thought LA was going to be just hanging out, going surfing, and real chill. And it's like that to a certain extent, but actually the corporate life was the opposite of it. It was very cutthroat, very hardcore, and I excelled in corporate, but my heart was always in entrepreneurship. And so I took all those skills that I learned. I made a plan early in my corporate career. Like when I graduated college in 2001 with my business management degree, I said, I'm going to work for 10 years, and then after 10 years, I'm going to start my own company. Because at the time, I had no mentors, I had no skills really, other than, my college degree and knowing how to do some work on spreadsheets. And it took me a little longer than 10 years. I always did side hustles outside of my corporate gig very early on. I have other content out there that touches on those things, but I just wanted to own my own company, put my own name on it, and create opportunities for myself, but also for others. And 8 years later, I've been able to do it. Definitely not where I want to be, but like I said, we're a small, multi-million-dollar a year company, and the goal is to go from 7 to 9 figures in the next 5 years. So that's where the focus is. I know that it takes a team to put yourself in position to do it, and that's been my focus, especially recently, just finding the right people to put on the roster so that we can hit those goals. So a lot of big things are coming. I just want to turn the camera on and share my thoughts, since it is a anniversary of a major event in my life, of the day I walked away from corporate, the day I became a corporate dropout to pursue my full-time entrepreneurial endeavors. So here we are, scot-free, signing off. And I would tell you, last thing, I just want to encourage you, especially people, the Gen Xers. I'm kind of on the tail end of Gen X. I was born in '79. So all you guys in your 40s or even late 30s or 50s, man, you can do it, dude. I know there's so many people who are like me, who, the path to entrepreneurship wasn't as sexy as it is today, but I know there's a lot of people who have that inner drive to be full-time as an entrepreneur, or even if it isn't full-time, maybe it's just something you want to build on the side, so you can make a transition into retirement. Just know that it's worth taking the risk. There's so many opportunities out there, so many resources out there. Figure out the skills that you're good at, and there's lots of ways to transition into full-time entrepreneurship. So we got some content out there on our website, our socials, that gets into it a little bit, but just believe in yourself. Don't do what I was afraid of, man. I didn't want to one day be on my deathbed and just look back and wish, what if I would have done that. I don't think I could live with myself if I didn't take these risks. I know a lot of people kind of inside are having this stress because they know they should be doing something different. They should be pursuing their passions. And I would just tell you, just do it, man. There's always going to be jobs out there. So even if you left your job to pursue something, it's not like you can never go back if it doesn't work out. But I was the type of person who I didn't burn the bridges, but I knew I was never going back. And that all-in mentality, I think, is what's needed and what's required to really get successful. So I'm not saying I'm the greatest to ever do it, but I would say I'm probably one of the few who's actually decided to step out there and to go for it. So I encourage you, man, just do it, especially those Gen Xers, those people in my age, the 40-year-olds, and even the young people, man. Like, this is for everybody. Entrepreneurship, I think, is for everybody. And it's what's made this country what it is what's made it this phenomenal place of opportunity is entrepreneurship. So go for it, and hit me up if you want to just have someone who wants to just chat and who's thinking on the same lines of just going for it and just believing that you can do it. So sign out. Peace.